Welcome to The Mummy. This is Brendan Fraser.
So hi, this is Oded Fehr.
This is Kevin J. O'Connor.
And my name is Arnold Vosloo.
The Mummy.
And you're about to see a massive close-up of my bald head.
It wasn't only your head, though.
No, everything. I had to shave my whole body, eh? Had this lovely Scottish makeup artist called Jane Walker that kindly shaved me every day.
I remember Jane,
Everywhere.
Ah, yes. Patricia Velasquez.
This is Patricia Velasquez, who was literally cast days before we shot this, and I was panicked because, I had so little time with her, and we wanted to work on something that we could be comfortable with each other and have some sort of body language thing because we had so little dialogue. And it worked out really well because the actress that was originally cast fell out for whatever reasons, and we ended up getting Patricia, and she was really great in this. Every 14-year-old boy remembers her.
No other man has ever seen body makeup like that either.
That whole hand thing that she just did there was something that we worked on. We wanted something that we could repeat later in the movie, just before I wake her up.
She is a very talented actress.
What is amazing is the effect that Patricia had with the short scene that she was in.
Yeah.
But everybody remembered her.
Sure, man.
Her.
Naked girl painted in gold, I mean.
I think she has competition.
See there, she did the hand thing again over my face, and we tried to put that in as much as we could.
These are a team of British bodybuilders. And with the plunge of that knife, our journey is set in motion.
But I swear, the movie is like the script. It's like you read it, you see it,
Yes.
which hardly ever happens in movies. I mean,
And you're listening to the disembodied voice of Oded Fehr.
this is Oded's voiceover. This is Oded Fehr doing the voiceover.
Cool, huh?
Which originally was written that I was supposed to do it, but then it was too weird that I speak English and then Egyptian, so Steve decided to lose it.
I stood by for this shot, actually.
This was scary, man. This is where they entomb me, and bondage is not my thing. I know that for sure after having shot this scene because, they completely wrapped me up, and from head to toe, and I couldn't move for about 4 hours. This scene here, they had me stand up, and then they wrapped me up, and they put me in the coffin. And some people like being tied up, but I can assure you it's not my thing. It's not pleasant here. I mean, that was really me, and I still to this day, I don't know why they really needed me.
Yeah,
Just in case you're wondering what film this was, there's the title.
there he is.
What do those tattoos mean on your face?
We tried to make them mean, as much as we could, to make them mean strength, a warrior for God, and so on.
That's Kevin J. O'Connor.
You're with me on this one, right?
Oh, your strength gives me strength.
You have to forgive me if I laugh a bit when I watch Kevin. It was always hard to keep a straight face. The
I
truth.
think you should keep that stash. It's definitely pull chicks.
Steve loved this run.
This set is actually the set that was very close to a little village called Erfoud, which consisted of maybe 2 hotels, and that's practically it.
Hotel is like
Yeah,
is a kind term.
somewhere to stay.
Ooh, okay.
Versus our geniuses compared to the camels. Which,
No question, eh?
now, you were added to this later, right, this scene?
Yeah, this scene, they actually used the scene twice. Once in daylight, once at night. They used the actual same scene. I think maybe 2 different takes of it, but they used the same scene because it wasn't clear exactly who my people were and so on, so they reused it.
Rachel Weisz.
Rachel has the best eyes. Love her eyes.
I think they used the effect of having the stunt person jump off. This was my first job, really, my first big job, and I never knew how things are on the set. And for me, I took it for granted that this is how it is, always. But my God, we had some really nice people in that movie.
Good working relationship.
John Hannah, so great. He was, since he had to be the comedian in this, he was just the comedian the whole way through, everything. He was just so funny. It was great to work with.
Oh my goodness!
Ooh, that looked like it didn't happen on purpose.
Come! Step over the threshold.
Ah, yes.
Welcome to Cairo.
Omid Jalili.
Omid Jalili.
Hello, excuse me.
Yeah, what?
Faces.
We can tell the 3 of them are getting along famously. I just love the way Rachel just steps over John. Ah, yes. The infamous hanging sequence. That was a real rope.
It's just so
This is
funny.
where Brendan got choked for real, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Remember, he was like, he passed out or something. That must have been a scare. Hey, your leading man on the first day, choke him out.
He never made a fuss.
It was a scare, though. I remember that.
Scoundrel.
Notice that Jonathan's not carrying any bags.
Well, if it ain't my little buddy Benny, I think I'll kill you.
Think of my children.
You don't have to.
Now, did you ad-lib this? Think of my children and all that? Because there's some lines that you did in this movie, which
Right.
are like my favorite.
We don't know why the gun bag floats, but, don't ask that question, because it's full of guns. That's why it floats.
Here, there's to be nitpicking, there's a cut here that always disturbed me. She puts the light on, and then they start walking, and Omid is in the background, and he's lifting up his things, he's lifting up his equipment. Here he is, lifting it up, and then you cut, and he's again walking to lift it up again.
Boy, you've watched this movie.
I tell you, that always bothered me.
Everywhere I go, people ask me about these bugs.
And if you translate the hieroglyphs on the side, it says, look, don't touch.
This will fetch a very fine price.
Ad-libbed.
Oh,
I'm sure.
definitely.
Should listen to the good doctor, Henderson.
Yeah, sure.
What were you eating there?
See, I always try to throw in a little eating. See, because I watch movies where no one eats. So at least I had some raisins.
That's funny. And you're like the thinnest guy in the movie, but you're the only one that eats.
This shot is great.
Oh, it's fantastic. This guy was so funny that even at his death, he got a laugh.
Yes.
Bam.
That's great.
Everybody always laughed at that scene.
No,
I think this movie was unusual as well in the sense, although it was sort of action-adventure, Indiana Jones-like. I think what was great about it is that Rachel's character really is the lead, and not Brendan. She's the one that makes everything happen, and he's sort of just the muscle, with all respect to Brendan.
And this is where you leave me.
Leave me. Leave me. Hey!
This is one of the best jokes in the whole movie.
Locust.
Of course, Benny steps on his glasses.
Wait for me!
I've heard this from a couple people of you, Arnold. If the mummy has stolen his eyesight, why doesn't the mummy have bad eyesight?
You know that originally, that was the idea. In the original script, the idea was that the mummy had bad eyesight, and that's why when he looks at Evelyn, he thinks it's a Knox on the Moon. This scene here, I remember, was on the last day we shot this. That was literally the scene before the one we mentioned earlier when you guys were running. It was very difficult technically because in a minute I'm going to walk past Brendan. I remember I had to hit my mark, turn around, and I wasn't even to look at Brendan. I was to look at this pole that they put an X on, and I talked to him, and then the camera was coming for a very strong close-up, so I had to hit my mark on the turn right here.
Try and find a way to kill him.
They're coming in for a close-up. And at this moment, I'm not actually looking at him. I'm looking at a pole. That's where,
No, because had you looked at him, it would have been more profile, and they wouldn't have seen your eyes.
exactly.
Chanting.
This is fun work. Steve really sort of let me go. Maybe he was just frightened to be around me. Now that's your voice, right, Arnold?
Yeah, that's my voice that they, put through 1,000 synthesizers or something.
You do very good Hebrew, I must say.
Okay, this is where Steve. I begged Steve to let me show this awful haircut that I got. Steve and Bob, in their twisted minds, think that I was proud, or this haircut made me look sexy. And on the other DVD, on their commentary, I heard them say, Kevin likes this hair. It's not that I liked it. I thought, if I got this,
Right, you want to show it?
I want to show it that I went through this haircut. I had to walk around in public like this.
You had to walk around London.
Exactly.
I love the way you can see the detail in his face coming on.
See, I like this guy. I like the second mummy. It starts blurring that thing of like what's real and what's not real, See what I mean?
Sure.
I had great difficulty with the scene. John Hannah with his little peewee gun.
Oh, you couldn't stop
I
laughing?
couldn't. Look at him.
And he's aiming like at the back of Brennan's head.
Yeah.
poor Kevin being manhandled by 240-pound Brendan. That's what this scene was about. You had bruises for like 2 weeks, I remember.
I actually had to put ice on one of my nipples. I mean,
He really mastered twirling that pistol.
I had to hit that mark so exactly because if I was off, they couldn't do the shot.
and there's not a
And
camera
yeah, see,
operator.
yeah, there's no camera operator, so a human can't compensate for my mistake. It just took forever. That little thing with that bug was literally 2 or 3 days' work.
I love the way you chew that bug, though.
I think it's
So
one of the
it's perfect.
It's one of the best mummy moments in this
yes,
movie
absolutely.
for me.
Once again, I like that stuff when it's half me and half computer graphic. I just think it's so interesting. It's much more effective and interesting. See, once again, I love the stuff where Rachel just drives the whole story. You know, she's the smart one and the one that knows what to do.
For some reason, John was loath to do this moment, but it's the funniest one.
I remember that. That's
What
what
was
I was
cool
about
about
to
it is that he went for it. You know, ultimately
Yeah.
he went for it, and he said to Steve, "Look, I'm not sure about this," because obviously he doesn't have a lot of experience with this kind of comedy, and he really had to defer to Steve. And I'm so pleased he did because it was one of the great moments in the movie.
Yeah.
say. Oh, I remember that hole.
What are you jumping into?
It's just they dug up a hole in the ground, filled it up with the cardboard boxes and mattresses, and we jump in there and then wait until they'd finished the take, and then they'd pull us back out of it. Now, you explain to me, how did we get back to the car? And all of a sudden, we're driving and we're in the desert. I mean, where did we go?
That's the shot of the picture for me. Look at that.
The whole thing just looked so great, and Bernard just sitting there with his chair and, you know, his cup of tea, and it was
Steve loved that, showing him
beautiful.
out of nowhere, sitting in the middle.
With the umbrella. It's just beautiful.
Waiting to serve.
Now comes one of the best lines in the movie, right here.
I love the whole sand wall trip. It was beautiful. Bastard.
I always love that I'm, kissing Imhotep's ass.
Right.
Little weasel I am, but he probably doesn't understand a word I'm
This is the set to end all sets. I mean, this set was spectacular with this moat, remember, with all those skeletons in it. And
Kevin, I'm your biggest fan, man. Every move. I remember shooting that. That was so much fun, just running backwards and shooting and shooting and shooting.
I know.
Look at this. Now, they pulled my hair back to one side and went and put the side of a matchbox. They stuck it to my cheek.
That's right.
They light that. Yeah, they did.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Put a matchbox on the
Yeah,
side?
yeah, they did, yeah.
Benny's, meanwhile, he's making a killing.
Yeah, you were supposed to sacrifice yourself here, right?
Yeah.
Was a little scary, actually.
Those are actually stunt guys in those suits.
In that case, yeah. To
yeah.
fight with you that helped you there.
Had to learn this fight. We did it all in one take, because
Now, this whole thing that he's doing right now, there was nothing there. There were no mummies, nothing. He's fighting in complete air. And I remember seeing this shot without them, and it looks really strange because he's fighting absolutely nothing. And
Yeah, it looked like he was doing some weird experimental dance thing.
Yes.
And I remember being so proud because everybody was sort of stumped as to like, how can we lift him? Let's put a cable on him. And I said, no, just put him on an apple box and I'll lift him. You know, it's like my B-movie experience paid off. You know? Finally, it came through.
I love this.
Oh, when they stop right in front of his nose.
And at
yeah.
the last second.
Last second of the last second.
That's great. Is this where you grab him?
Yeah. Watch now. He's going to put his foot on a box behind him. What do we call an apple box? It's sort of this, I don't know, they come in different sizes, but
Like a small crate.
like a small crate, yeah, a little square little crate.
uh-oh.
There, he's got his foot on the crate now. I grab him, and he pushes himself up.
Now, are we going to see a cable here when he picks him up? When you pick Brendan up?
You have seen this movie so many times.
No, it's just that Steve mentioned it to me, so I looked out for it.
He was on a cable, but I don't recall. There you can see
There's
it.
a
Yeah,
cable.
there's a cable. You can see it. You're right.
Never noticed.
If I have $1 for every time a little kid came up to me and asked me if I could really open my mouth like that.
There goes Imhotep's soul.
There's a chance for a sequel?
I'm not sure.
Alright.
I'm not sure. This is fantastic.
This is great.
Was that thing really heavy that they loaded up for you?
No, it wasn't that heavy, but Steve and I would talk about how heavy it was. The first take I did, it was I could barely move. And Steve says, it's not that heavy. Okay, it's heavy, but it's not.
When people ask me if there's going to be a sequel, I say, did you see the first one? Yes, there's your sequel. This stuff freaked me out, man. I was there when you shot this. I remember watching. And it just looked like nothing. And when it was all cut together, it was like probably the claustrophobic thing in me. I was like, Jesus, man, this is scary.
It's one of those little sets where you have no idea exactly what it will look like. I mean, these things actually were moving.
They moved, right? I love that Brendan still tries to help you.
Yeah, that's
I love
great for
that.
his
I
character.
love that. It's really cool. It's nice to see this all again. I'm very proud of this movie. It's a wonderful, wonderful film, and it was really a great experience.
It's first unit?
I think, yeah, that was second unit. That's not us. That's us. That's us. That's not us. It's So Hominoptera Falls.
Very cool, very cool. Guys, it was fun making this movie, man, with you. We had a good time.
Oh.
We had a good time.
Thanks for watching The Mummy. Bye now.